Technology. I'm Webb. This is Buck, and today we've got lots of tarantula rehousings. Now usually when we're doing tarantula rehousings here lately, we did some over at G-Man's house over in Pennsylvania. We did some here, but they were mostly just little swings. So today we're going to be doing some bigger tarantulas. We're going to be doing some juveniles, and we'll be doing a couple of slings too. So quite a few here for you today. It's going to be a long video, but you don't have to watch it. It's just fun if you do. Webbed Up Exotics. Get stuck. All right, we've got our catch cup. We've got our paint brushes, all the tools that we need for successful rehouses here. We've got where we're going and where we're coming from. Now you're going to say, Webb, why in the heck are you taking a spider from an enclosure this big and putting it into something smaller? That's backwards. We usually take something from something small, it's gotten big, we're putting it into something bigger. Well, I just did a trade for this. This is another Panthopedia species McCullough, or the purple bloom tarantula. And there's two things I don't like about this enclosure. One, it has a screen top. Now, I'm not a screen top Nazi. There's people out there that are like, oh, you got to cut this out, and you've got to put plexiglass in it, or your tarantula's leg will get caught. None of mine have. I believe Dave from Dave Little Beasties busted that as a myth, but if you talk to Tom Moran, he has seen it happen, he says. So I say it's maybe one in a million odds, 1 in 1,000 odds that it's going to happen. So the reason that I don't like the screen top for this is Panthopedia species McCullough, or the purple bloom tarantula, is actually a moisture-dependent species, which means you wanted it in an enclosure that, yes, is going to have some ventilation, but cross ventilation is the important thing with that, one. Two, you still want it to hold a lot of that moisture in. This is a moisture-dependent species. It needs that moisture in order to thrive. So cross ventilation, if you look at the new enclosure here, there's no holes in the top of this. No holes. Water droplets, no holes. But if you look at the enclosure itself, there's all these little holes that are drilled around every side of this enclosure. And what that does is it provides cross ventilation, and then with there not being any holes in the top, it stops all of the moisture from just evaporating straight from the top. So by doing this, you're getting a nice moisture-rich environment that you're not going to have to sit there and add water to constantly. And as you guys can see, as I struggle to open this, they're not easy to open. Now, I grew a smoky gray Thai tarantula, whatever the Kilobrachys species cane kraken is. I grew one of those out in here. We just rehoused it earlier today. We didn't put it on camera. It would have been great, but my wife is the one that did the rehousing and wasn't sure she wanted to be all up on the camera. She's not into the hillbilly herpetology stuff. She just kind of likes to rehouse spiders sometimes. So we didn't put that one on video, but that's where we got this enclosure from. So I know it's good for moisture-dependent species. I've already raised one to adulthood in it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out the handy-dandy catch cup. And before we do this, I just want to show you guys here what I'm saying about the size of this enclosure compared to the spider. It's a fairly small juvenile. I'm making it worse, huh?
That's good right there.
It's a fairly small juvenile, and whoo, it bit. Oh wow, do you see the purple? Definitely got that purple going on up in there. So it's probably, I would say, 3.5, possibly 4 inches. So these things grow fast, and I do worry about putting it in this thing and just having to rehouse it here in 2 or 3 months because it's going to be too big for it. But at the same time, it's going to work for now. It's going to serve its purpose. And I'm moving things around today the way that I have to, the way that everything needs enclosures. Webb, it's finally time to get some more enclosures. I've had a closet full of enclosures for a long time. I finally filled them all up, and it's time to get more enclosures. So that's what I'll be doing in the near future. But for now, we're moving stuff around the way that we need to in order to get them all in the enclosures that they should be in to be happy. And we're actually going to repurpose this enclosure here very soon in this video. So you can see we got her in here. We're just going to move it over here. Now, I've already moistened the dirt up in here. I've got a little spot for her right here. And then all I'm going to do, I'm going to take the smaller brush to do this part with. I'm just going to put this brush through, and I'm just going to tap her leg and let her know, hey, there's something right in front of you now. Hopefully she'll turn around here. She's got her feet on the ground. I've just got to make her realize, yes, that's the way to go. There's stuff up here. You don't want to come back up. Going down is the way. Here we go. Successful rehouse. The infamous OBT, P. murinus. Pterodactylus murinus, something like that. It actually, the P is silent, so it's kind of funny that it's the P. murinus, but it's the P. murinus, the orange bitey thing, the OBT, the orange baboon tarantula, probably the most feared tarantula in the hobby. And some of that is with good reason, and some of that is for not good reason. So I don't think most tarantulas are as bad as what their reputation gets in general. I think that some of it is maybe some inexperienced people messing with them. I think some of it is people that are trying to get a reaction. Like if I wanted views, I could probably make this tarantula upset enough that it's giving me all kinds of crazy strike poses and I have the potential of getting bit. Maybe I do get bit. Maybe it gets me viral. I don't know. But I'm not going to get bit, I hope. So what we're going to do is we're going to definitely get this one right here on camera. I want you guys to take note of just how gorgeous these tarantulas are. Some people might ask, well, why do you mess with a tarantula that has a bad reputation and has venom that is potent enough that can put you in the hospital if you get bit? And I say, they're gorgeous for one. For two, these are some very fascinating tarantulas to watch and to feed. So they're awesome. And you guys will see here when we get the colors. So first things first, you always want to locate. And I have located. And I'm just going to try to take some of this webbing off without disturbing the tarantula if I can. The tarantula is right here. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take more of this out. That's what I'm going to do. And hope that it doesn't grab on and come out for a ride. Alright, look at those colors. Would it help with me having a little extra light?
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay, so now, what I'm going to do, the only thing I don't like about this catch cup sometimes is when you're messing with some of these smaller ones, it can be pretty hard. I'm already getting threat postures. But, did you guys see that? I got a couple of threat postures, and that was about it.
It's
now,
hard to see through the web.
And now, we have this thing completely captured. There's no escape from this. See, he just fell, but no way you can get out from this. So the only thing I don't like about it falling is that it's down there. I'm going to try to get it to walk back up a little bit. Now, this is the new enclosure, guys. This is what we just took the purple bloom out of. And I figured this would be perfect for an OBT because the orange baboon tarantula is an arid species of tarantula, meaning that this top here is going to let any of the moisture out, which is great for this species. So we have gotten this thing up here in the very top. I've noticed whenever they do this, it's easy to just do that number there. And there we go. As you can see, I've already got the water bowl over here filled up. He went straight to that burrow. Guys, I want to point out, you get these enclosures set up right, and whenever you go to put this potentially ornery tarantula up into the enclosure, you put them right by that burrow. 9 times out of 10, that's all they want to do. They just want to get away from you. They'll just go straight into that. Bam, you're good. Point out the deer skull here, or the deer jaw. I love it. I mean, I like the little setup we got for him here. Here within a month, guys, this thing is probably going to be all webbed up, so it's going to get stuck. All right, like I said, we're moving stuff from point A to point B, from point B to point C, from point C back to point A. So here we have a pink toe tarantula, and I've already taken most of the stuff out of the inside of this and put it into the new enclosure. Now, I was going to pick her up, but she's acting a little ornery, to be honest. So I'm going to get her in a catch cup here. If she even ends up letting me do that. Yep, there we go. See if you can get in there and get some of that coloration to pick up. I can't see the camera at all, so I don't know if I'm helping or hurting. Okay, so now they usually want to go up. We'll see if she'll go down, because I'm going to poke her down, and hopefully she'll just fill some of this down there and yep, go right around onto that. She's like, oh, that feels kind of normal. All I did was just take everything from her old enclosure, put it in here, and we're just going to clean the old enclosure up, and we're going to be giving it to our Phanopelma simani. She's a big female, but I'm just going to put a lot of dirt in this and give her space to burrow down. She won't have a lot of a space around, but I'm going to get something nice and big for her to rehome her in, because we're going to be breeding her, and what she's in now isn't something that I really want to breed her in. And then we're going to put our new pink toe Goliath tarantula in that one. All right, here is that Phanopelma simani, or the Costa Rican stripe knee. This is the tarantula from Home Alone, I always tell everybody. Not this specific tarantula, although, believe it or not, that specific tarantula could probably still be alive depending on what age it was. These things can live up to 30 to 40 years, some believe longer. So we're just gonna coax her right up in here. And then coax her right down in there. I didn't figure that'd be a tough rehouse. Now, like I said, this is a little smaller for her than what I would like, but it does meet all of her requirements, and we'll get her in something bigger soon. It will be her permanent adult enclosure, because like I said, we will be breeding her. We have a male upstairs, 2 more molt cycles, and this thing will be ready to go. All right, so this one I was very excited about getting. I've always wanted to have a Goliath bird eater in the collection. Now, I hadn't gotten one. These are definitely an advanced species. We're talking about a tarantula that can get 12 inches in diameter leg span, DLS, going from the back tip of the one leg up to the front tip of the leg on the opposite side. 12 inches. This is a massive tarantula. They're considered to be an advanced species because they're very moisture dependent, to the point where if you read literature that was produced in the 90s, you will see they're considered to be swamp dwellers. This had people not having any kind of ventilation holes, keeping them non-ventilated. It had them super wet, like it didn't end well. But these are not considered to be a beginner species. They're considered to be a bit harder to keep alive. This is the Theraphosa apophysis, or the Goliath pink toe. There's 3 different species of Theraphosa. The Theraphosa sturmi, or the Goliath burgundy, the Theraphosa blondie, or the regular Goliath bird eater, and then there's this one. Now the crazy thing about the pink toe is they only have these pink toes when they're young. As it gets older, those pink toes will disappear, but it will keep those really nice striations. Dang, I think this thing's just going to rehouse itself. So these things are just really cool. One thing I will say, if you can see these really long hairs that they possess, they are known to have some of the worst urticating hairs in the hobby. Now you'll see this thing has a bald hiney. Whenever I was going to pick it up, she said this thing kicked all of its hairs off on the way for me to get it. Doesn't really look like pre-molt. I will say it could have also been stress too. I don't know how it was housed. So either way, we've got it in a really nice enclosure here. Because that they're very highly moisture dependent, it is imperative that as soon as you can fit a water bowl into an enclosure with a Sturmey or with any Theraphosa or Goliath species, that you do. So I've heard that these things are pretty feisty. My first time messing with them here, I don't know. Like I said, this thing practically rehoused itself. But I love these things. They're so gorgeous. Are you getting good color pop on there, or should I put some light on it?
I think we're good.
All right, yeah. I love the coloration of these things. I love these tarantulas. I can't wait for you guys to see it grow on the channel with us here. And of course, we'll have some feeding videos of it coming up too. Okay, Simopius cambridgei, or the Trinidad chevron. This is going to be a big greenish looking tarantula. Gets to be some of the biggest of its genus. I want to say a good 8-inch leg span when it's all said and done. And they're some of the fastest growing tarantulas in the hobby as well. Now, I brought this back from G-Man's house a while back. And not sure exactly how this will go, because my catch cup is huge. So we're just going to see kind of what's going to happen here. I'm hoping maybe if I'm super lucky, that it'll go down for me. They usually don't go down, but woohoo! It went down. So now I just got to get the lid on it. These things are pretty cool. These have like a little magnet click lid on them, and they work really well for juvenile slings, but as you can tell, it's a pretty tiny enclosure, so it'll only be good for a few molts, and then this one is hopefully a female and will go into an adult enclosure. But that's P. cambridgei. Titulocado, alboceps, or everybody's favorite fuzzy tarantula, the curly hair. This is still just a sling yet, but these guys came in bigger than most of the other slings that I had, and so they were ready for a rehouse, a bit on the sooner side. He's acting like a tortoise right now, but I promise you, this is a tarantula, guys. Little, but I'm glad I got him a little bit bigger, because even though curly hairs grow a bit faster than some of the other Titulocado species, they still are fairly slow growing. So once again, you guys get to see this thing grow up.